Heyo, and welcome back to Slipstream. In this part we're going on to the final Grand Prix Cup, and that is the Diamond Cup. And so far we've used the Type 23, we've used the Epsilon, we've used the Arashi, so now we get to pick between the Lynx and the Aurora. And I kinda like the aesthetic of the Lynx, but that's the one that I've spent most time with, so I am going to close my eyes and let fate decide. It's the Lynx. I did actually do a off-screen setup take, which I ended up not using, where I got this, and I weren't sure how I was feeling it, I weren't feeling the take, so I started again and got the Lynx again. But to start with, we have Aquatic Ruin, so we've got another Sonic reference here, and this one I will say it kind of reminds me of one of the levels in Mario Kart 7 where you get to drive through a pipe, just because it's got the same sort of tube layout to it. I don't know whether this is meant to be a covered up tube or whether we are just driving underwater. It's kind of hard to tell with the art style, but in a way I do actually kind of like that ambiguity. It makes the whole thing look a little bit more mysterious. But I will say, on the whole, the Diamond Cup has some of the more out there picks for track designs. Well, not so much picks, but the designs themselves are a lot more chaotic, a lot less typical racing areas, and this is where shit hits the fan. They were just making this the most wild and cool looking game they possibly could at this point, and I am 100% here for that. You know, it's the final cup, you might as well come up with some really fucking cool shit to put in the end. And having just done the Emerald Cup and now this back-to-back, I am definitely seeing what I was feeling when I brought it up in the last part, in that I really do feel the difference in having a fully upgraded car in the 5th race of the previous GP to now go to a not at all upgraded car except for one little pellet of speed. But hey, we work with what we got. It's kind of the point of having an upgrade system, it's to make the cars feel more impressive as you upgrade them. And a lot of games do have similar kind of things, so you know, I can't really hold it against the game. If I held on just a little bit longer there, I'd been able to get the Slipstream, but I didn't. I'm not sure if this is the strongest start I could have had really, because I'm noticing I'm on the 3rd lap and I'm only 14th, and as far as I recall, in the previous cup I was mostly getting to about 12th or 11th by this point, so hopefully this is just, there's a cluster of cars there and that's what's making it happen. Let's see if I can overtake several of these in one hit, that'd be nice if I can. Slipstream. Trying to get into the habit of taking my finger off the acceleration when I'm coming up behind a car, because then I'll still get the Slipstream, but I'm less likely to crash into the back of him, which definitely helps you build up your speed, I can say that much. Multitasking has never been a strength of mine, so when I've got several things to pay attention to, it kind of backfires on me. Oh god, what can I say, you know? That probably would have went a lot better if I took it more outside, but what's done is done. Okay, I did the thing where I took my finger off the acceleration for a bit, but then I still crashed into him anyway, so maybe I was talking out my arse there. But I'll say, in terms of what I've been playing recently, this isn't the only racing game I've been playing in recent times, because I also did download Genso Skydrift on Steam, which is a Toho racing game. And that game is a lot of fun. It looks like it should be stupid bullshit, and the plot in the campaign is very much stupid bullshit, but the gameplay itself is actually really fucking solid. Like, it plays almost like Mario Kart in a way. Like, it's got 2 races and it sort of handles that similar to Double Dash, in that you can have both characters picking up an item at the same time, and so you can rotate it depending on who you want to use their particular item at any given moment. There is actually some extra mechanics on top of that, in that like switching uses up a little bit of the power that you build up, but it does give you a big boost when you do it, like a boost in speed, so it's worth it, and there's that sort of resource management. But just on the whole, it is a really fun game, and it's another game I might possibly cover here one day, we'll see. I don't really want to do 2 racing games back to back, but I wouldn't be opposed to doing it maybe later in the year, just to bring another game I like to the channel, but we'll see. I have plans. But up next is Virtual Plaza, one of my favourite course designs in this whole game. Look at this. Look at this fucking track. This is like the absolute definition of aesthetic. We've got the jazz wave, we've got the cyan and pink, got the palm trees. It's like, you think of a vaporwave aesthetic, this is what you think of. Like this, I'm surprised we didn't actually get the statue from the front of the Floor Shop album cover, actually, come to think of it. And like, that album is really good. That's a similar statue, but it's not the one. It's not the particular bust, but it fits the mood perfectly. And this one, crashing can sort of fuck you over in the fact that you can sort of drive a little bit in between the pillars there. I'm not like, the mouse cursors on the sides do add to the look as well. This whole thing is very much a retro 80s PC kind of thing. If you had a computer in the early days of computers being a thing, your desktop background probably looked like this. Not that I can say too much, I was born in 95, so a little bit before my time. I do have some experience with old computers. The earliest computer I remember having was one that I think my mum's work were getting rid of. And it wasn't this sort of era, but it was also a piece of shit that did nothing. But you know, back then having a computer, it was actually in the dining room we kept it, and just going on there and being a very young child dicking around in Microsoft Office and getting a PowerPoint to go to the next slide, and I was a very easily amused child. Like I do feel having that kind of upbringing, the fact that I did experiment a lot with computers in my developmental years. That's helped me a lot, actually, and I can't really talk down about that at all, because everything I do nowadays I do on a computer. Like, my job is online. Like, my volunteer work, I do like the computer side of things for a local charity. You know, like, everything I do basically revolves around those kind of skills that I developed very early on. And it does kind of make me think, like, what's the world gonna be like when the younger kids now, who are growing up on phones and tablets, taking things on? Because that's something that I've thought about a lot, actually, because I'm completely out of touch with phones and tablets. I don't, like, my phone is a 7-year-old iPhone. It doesn't run any new apps, but like, I don't use my phone enough to justify buying a new one. And I've never really got on with tablets. Like, my dad uses the tablet way more than I do, because like, for him it's an accessibility thing. He's dyslexic, so having the voice input is much easier for me to use than the keyboard. But for me, I've never used it, so when I get comments that I get quite a lot of the time that on my FC Playthroughs channel that are from young children who are talking about playing certain emulated games on their phone or on their iPad, like, it's a completely alien concept to me. I realise that this is full-on boomer talk now, but I do kind of wonder how that's going to affect things, because pretty much, to my knowledge, all phone tablet operating systems are made to be the most like end-user intuitive pieces of hardware possible, or pieces of software. And so the kids are learning how to use computers from these. They're learning in a very walled garden environment. Like, they're not learning how to use computers, they're learning how to use iOS. They're learning how to use Android. And I don't know how transferable that skill is compared to the skill of using Windows or using macOS. I don't know, maybe they'll prove me wrong in a few years when they're making great things, but I don't know. I wouldn't say concerned, I'm just, I guess, curious more than anything of how this is going to work out. Just upgrading all my parts there, and now we're going into another Sonic inspired level. This is Mystic Cave. And this is very much akin to Mystic Cave from Sonic Drift 2. Or at least the cave level. I can't remember whether it was explicitly based on Mystic Cave or not, but it was very much in a shut-in cave area that looked kinda like this. I think it did actually have more outside sections than this does. I think this particular track is entirely set in the cave, which is not the most interesting track to look at out of all the tracks in this game, but it's distinct and that kind of makes up for it, I feel. But the one in Sonic Drift 2, oh no, we have got a little outside section, even if it's not much of one. But the one in Sonic Drift 2 did have a few outside sections where there were like holes in the ground and all kinds of different things to kind of shake it up a little bit. I feel like between the two Drift games, Sonic Drift 2 is slightly more difficult, but it's also the more interesting one. Sonic Drift 1, it very much played it safe in terms of its track picks, but Drift 2, they did make some more original things. I mentioned Rainy Savannah. There's a few others, I can't remember off the top of my head, but you know, there were some fun races in that game. Sonic's had some really cool racing games over the years. Like, I have a soft spot for R, even if it is clunky as all hell. And you got the Rivals games, which are Rivals games. I covered Rivals 1 on the channel a few years ago now. It's the epitome of mediocrity, but it's got that charm to it. I still need to get around to playing Rivals 2 one day. Then you've also got the Sumo Digital games, which I've spent plenty of time talking about, both in this playthrough and in others. Sonic's just a series that lends itself well to racing games. Although this isn't quite as an explicit, typical vaporwave setting that I have an image in my head for, it does kind of fit into what I was saying about being a child and sort of drifting off and just sort of half-heartedly paying attention to the things around you. This is like not so much the driving through a city, this is more the going through a tunnel kind of area from that, which, you know, like, I don't even know if this is a thing anymore, because I don't drive myself, so like, unless I'm going somewhere with my parents or with a family member, I don't tend to go in a car that much these days. I just don't like being in a car, really. But I remember when I was young and I'd be driving around places, and it'd be when you drive through a tunnel that the music had cut out because trying to connect to an analog radio station in a tunnel, it's nearly impossible. I don't know if DAB's better at getting a signal like that. So whenever I talk about something that's outside of playing a video game, I come to terms with just how out of touch with the world I actually am. I don't know, like this is something that I've kind of come to just accept that I do have quite a closing world, and a lot of this does come down to health issues, so there's not much you can do about it, but you know, seeing the world from the outside looking in, it's a different way to live. I don't even know where I'm going with this, but you know, I kind of got that on my mind. I don't think I lost too much speed there from that particular fall. I guess it was because I was already sort of turned to go around the corner. Can I get myself up from third, maybe? Okay, second. There's one more bastard I need to overtake, but it looks like we're getting close to the end of the track, so let's try and do this without too much of that happening. And of course he's in another Lynx car as well, so it's me against me. Just about. I had that on the first track in the playthrough and I had it now in the final cup, so it's not quite bookending because we've still got tracks to go, but it's kind of neat in its own way. Let's sort out the acceleration for a start, bring that up a bit. And I can do that, and then can do that, and I've balanced out all my money again. But up next is Polygon Peaks, which is also a really aesthetic kind of track to have going on. And if you thought the Sonic references were just a coincidence before somehow, no, they know exactly what they're doing here. We've got the Chaos Emeralds, we've got the rings. But this, like, Sonic himself is such a distinct part of 90s culture. Like, it'd be weirder if they didn't acknowledge it. For some reason, I seem to recall a PC game I played when I was younger having a similar sort of look to this, but I can't for the life of me remember what it was. Unless I am just thinking of the PC version of Flicky's Island, which I do have. Which is a terrible game, by the way. I know Flicky's Island, or 3D Blast, it's called in the US. I know it has its fans, but to me the control in both the PC and the Mega Drive versions I never got on with. It's just so bloody awkward. Especially when you're trying to play it with a D-pad, and it just doesn't play ball for me. I haven't played Spinball, so I can't compare it to the entire spectrum of the Sonic Mega Drive games, but out of all the ones I have played, it's easily the weakest. I actually tried going back to it for FC playthroughs a little while ago, and I just sort of noped out. The control was just far too fiddly for me to try and play, even with save states and with rebinding the controls a little bit. I just really don't like that game. It's arguably my least favourite Sonic game. Because I have issues with the controls of things like Secret Rings, because that game, it's using motion controls that just don't fucking work half the time. But working half the time is more than working basically none of the time. But I know that there were plans at one point to make Sonic 3 control in that sort of isometric layout, and I'm so fucking glad that fell through, given how important of a game Sonic 3 and Knuckles ended up being. If that had set some sort of precedent for the series, that probably would have led to a lot of things sucking more, or it just plain wouldn't have sold. I feel like they got away with Flicky's Island as a spin-off, but I don't feel like that would have went down well as a main series game. Man, look at them luminous palm trees. It's like the complementary piece to the earlier Vaporwave one that we had, where it was like the lighter colours and the cool jazz wave kind of thing. This has got the darker colours with the gems and the rings. And just the reflective kind of things. So it's more, maybe more so a gaming inspired retro course rather than a technology inspired retro course. And that background there, not the mountains, but like the checkerboard kind of thing they got going on, well, it's not a checkerboard, it's more like a cross-hatch line pattern. That, when you think of 90s media predicting the future, anytime a character went into a computer or something like that, you would have saw a pattern like that. Oh bollocks, like I have first place here, but I'm desperately trying to hold on to it. There we go, I got the first, nice one. Had to just have a nice sip of water, because talking for a long period of time, not something I'm good at, I'll admit. But that's all my money gone. So let's go on to the final race, Stardust Speedway. If you weren't gonna just go flat out Rainbow Road, this is your next best pick. Stardust Speedway is a really cool track here. Obviously named after the Sonic CD level, which is also aesthetic as fuck. Like, if they were gonna do a sequel to Team Sonic Racing, if we were gonna have another Sonic Racing game, I would love to see a race course based off the Sonic CD Bad Future variant of Stardust Speedway. It'd be a perfect city at night kind of level to race through. I'm a little bit disappointed they didn't pick that out for any of the racing games now, come to think of it. But I would need them to emphasise the Japanese music from that, because the Stardust Speedway, both of its themes, both the European Japanese one and the US one, they are cool. But I feel like the melody from the Japanese one is so much more distinct. And it's kind of become a recognisable Metal Sonic theme as well. So, like, if you were gonna have that kind of representation, I need that melody. I prefer the music from the Japanese and European versions of Sonic CD over the American ones on the whole. Although the American one does have some solid tracks in its own right. But you know, I just prefer the Japanese one overall. With the exception of maybe the opening song, because as cool as Toot Toot Sonic Warrior, or as it's really known, Sonic You Can Do Anything, as cool as that song is, Sonic Boom is fucking legendary too. Even the pastiche version, I prefer the Crush 40 and Cash Cash version of that song that they did around the time the Sonic CD Taxman remake came out. But the original pastiche version is really cool as well. It's another iconic Sonic vocal theme. But this particular level is flat out going for your Rainbow Road kind of look. It's got your fucking like space aesthetic. You can see the planets in the background. It fills the void left by this game not having Rainbow Road. The 1 second that I take my finger off the button just to scratch my chin and I realise that I'm at a corner, of course. One thing I will say I absolutely appreciate about this track's look is the track itself being translucent. And this goes into another one of my obnoxiously comparing two versions of a Sonic thing for no reason habit that I have, but that's why I feel that Sonic are on the Saturn looks better than Sonic R on PC, because the PC version didn't carry over the translucency effects that the Saturn version does. And so when you get to the final stage, the Diamond in the Sky level, though I can't remember what the track's called because I only really remember the songs from that game. When you get to that track, it's not quite as impressive, you know, like they've got the rainbow look going on, but when you can't see through the track, when you don't have that glassy kind of look, it's just not quite as impressive. Like the PC version fixed the draw distance issues that Sonic R had, but I can take shitty draw distance if it means we get some really cool looking tracks. I feel like I'm lapping these cars. Some of the other races I've had issues with being so far behind everyone and I end up finishing in like 4th. But for this one, I'm flat out overtaking 20th place twice. Oh. I guess this is like my little bit of redemption in a way, but hey. There we go, first place on the final course. I'm actually kind of happy I got that down, if I'm being honest. Plus 10 points. And there we go, I got my perfect first place cup. It took me until the final one, but I fucking did it, folks. I fucking did it. I'm going to enjoy the little victories. Diamonds look cool there, but you know, I'm not sure what that's actually meant to be, the design of the cup that he's holding up. It almost looks like a fucking cartoon Sonic animal. But yeah, that's it for my coverage of the Slipstream Grand Prix, folks. Join me next time where I'll be doing a bit of a bonus showcase with some of the other content that this game has to offer. So I will see you then. Join me next time for more Slipstream. Bye bye for now.
you